All right, here's a strange story. The story is written several places. It was written, and the story is about um, there was a rabbi. His name was Rabbi Chaim Militsky, and he was crippled. He couldn't walk. This story must have happened, I don't know, I guess 50 years ago or something. Anyway, he couldn't walk, and his grandson got married, and they made the big wedding party. Maybe it was at the wedding itself, the wedding party. Anyway, so they made the wedding party. And they asked him to say a few words. Everybody, I guess, had made a few lachaims. Everybody was family, friends. And suddenly he said he wants to tell a story about how he became crippled. And he told the story like this, that when he was a young man, I guess this was in Poland or Hungary, wherever he lived in Europe. So he and his friends would sit, 10 boys, whatever, and they would learn Torah. They would learn Torah into the night. Learn Torah, they would sit and learn Torah uninterruptedly. And there used to be, in this place where they learned, there was 10 of them, 15, who knows. There was an old drunk that used to come in, a Jewish guy, a drunk. He would come in like in the middle of the day or close to evening, whenever it was. And he would lay down in a corner, go to sleep, and he didn't make any trouble. So they let him stay there. Once in a while, I guess they would give him some of their food or something. And he would always come in with like a bottle of vodka or something. He would wake up and he would drink again and go back to sleep. And one day or one night, they were sitting there where they were learning. It was, I guess, the early evening. Someone knocked on the door. They opened it up. It was raining outside, pouring rain. And a Gentile came and he said, "Please help me. My wagon overturned and my horse is in the mud. And it's the only horse I've got. Please come and help me. I can't lift it up alone. You boys help me." So it's raining outside, and it's a bit cold. And of course, that means they fell in the mud. These boys are going to get all dirty. And not only that, they're doing this big mitzvah. They're 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 learning Torah, learning Torah. So they sort of, one guy made a joke, a laugh, and so they said, "No, we can't do it. We're too weak. We can't do it. Turn over what?" So he came back a little bit later, a couple of minutes later, said, "Please, please, I've been looking all over. Please come and help me." And suddenly this drunk guy who was laying on the floor, he said, "You better go out and help him. Because if you don't, then you won't be able to go at all. You won't be able to." So there's this drunk guy. He's all of a sudden he's giving him advice. His whole life is just worth, it's just destroyed. And he's all of a sudden, so they said, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." Anyway, after about a half an hour, they decided they're going to go and help the guy. So they went out and it was too late. The guy's horse had already died. I guess it drowned, it smothered, whatever it was. And they didn't help him. Good. He said, not long after, he said, this fellow came to me. He came to me and he said, "Tomorrow I'm going to die. I want you to come to my house and sit by me until I die." They said this to this Militsky fellow. So he thought the guy was nuts. But on the other hand, he said to himself, "Listen, I like to learn Torah. I'll sit and learn Torah in the fellow's house. And it interests me to see where he lives." So they go to this old sort of hut. And he has like a boards he sleeps on. And he sits there and learns. He also makes a little corner for him. He sits sitting and learning. 3:30, he said, "That's it. My time has come. I'm going to die." So he said, "I want you to bury me next to this big tzaddik." There was this well-known holy man that was buried in the cemetery I want you to bury me next to him. And so this Rab Malitsky said, listen, I mean, what you're going to get buried next to him? I mean, first of all, the cemetery is packed, and a lot of people wanted to be buried next to him. It's probably right. And not only that, we bury next to him. Well, you don't even put on tefillin. You don't even pray. You want to be? I mean, we'll bury you in bury you in such an honorable, high place. So he said, listen, there's a little box over there in the corner. Open up the box. And the box is my tefillin and some of the things that I wrote. And you can show them to the rabbis if you want to. So he goes over and he looks, he opens up the box, and he sees there's these really beautiful tefillin that are there. And he picks up a couple of the pages, and there's like maybe 100 pages. There's things that are written on the Talmud and on Kabbalah and on things like that. And sure enough, exactly at 4, he says Shema Yisrael, and he dies. Maybe it could be this boy, the Malitsky ran out and he brought other boys to be there with him when his soul went out. Anyway, so he died. And they checked in the cemetery. And sure enough, right next to this big tzaddik, there was a place to be buried, and nobody ever noticed it. So they buried him in that place. So, but shortly thereafter, all of a sudden, he said, my leg stopped working. Suddenly, my leg stopped working. It didn't work. I didn't know what to do. Went to doctors. I realized it was because of what he said, because I didn't help this person out. As therefore, this happened to me. So listen, I don't know why I'm telling the story now. It's supposed to be a happy time. My grandson is getting married. But suddenly I felt an urge to tell the story. I'm sorry if I wrecked up all the happiness. And sure enough, everybody was really very somber and very this. So he says, come, let's start a song. So he started a song. The band started playing. Anyway, there came over to him. It happened to be that at the wedding was a Chabad Chassid. His name was Rav Leib Friedman. And he said, I think that we should write a letter to the Lubavitcher Rebbe and tell him your whole story and ask for a blessing. You should be able to walk. He said, my pleasure, if you can do it, wonderful. So they did. They wrote a letter. And the Rebbe wrote back that my father-in-law said that a segula, a charm, if you want to call it, a blessing for all things is to do chitat every day. To learn the portion of Chumash every day with Rashi, to say the portion of Psalms as it's divided into 30 portions every day, and to read the portion of Tanya every day. And if you do this, then maybe you'll be blessed. It could be that this whole story even happened, 67 years ago. So he did. He started reading the things, and sure enough, he began to walk again. He began to walk again. That's the story. So the story shows, number one, that we have to listen to everybody, holy Jews. Listen, at least they should have gone out and seen the wagon, but not say no immediately. At least go out and see the situation. See, not to ignore the person totally. And number two, to see that the importance of being attached to the Rebbe and the healing for the curse that was on, like these curses that I spoke about. And also the benefits you can get from learning chitat every day. So learn chitat and be happy, and God willing, we'll meet tomorrow again at 8:15. Have a good day with Mashiach now. I'll sign.
Thank you very much.
Sign the show for 1 minute. Here we go.
Oh.
There we go.